2 years ago, his position didn't exist. Probably wasn't even thought possible. Israel's first ambassador to Bahrain is a direct result of the Abraham Accords. Chris Mitchell brings us the CBN News exclusive interview with the ambassador about historic changes happening in the Middle East.
Few people have witnessed the dramatic transformation in the Middle East Gulf states, like Eitan Na'eh, Israel's first ambassador to Bahrain.
I saw 2 Israeli embassies open in the Gulf, one in the UAE, one in Bahrain, a consulate general that was opened in Dubai, dozens of agreements that were signed.
From the birth of the Abraham Accords on the White House lawn, Ambassador Na'eh has been a key player in the agreements.
There is significant, in fact, historical change to the course of events in the Middle East. They are an effort to take a road that has not been taken before, establish a relationship between Israel and Arab countries, and not just that, it's proving to the rest of the Arab countries, to the rest of the world, and to the rest of the people in this region that it is possible.
But about 100 miles from Manama, the capital here in Bahrain, and across the Gulf, lies Iran and its regime that represents an existential threat, not only to Israel, but to this tiny Gulf country. Ambassador Na'eh says the Gulf countries see the Iranian nuclear deal just like Israel does.
We hear from them exactly what we say. I think that the threat and the threat perception, the threat levels are pretty identical by those who live in this region, by those who experience the kind of behavior that Iran got infamous for. And the threat, the concern is real. We all know that the mother of all problems in the Middle East is Iran. All we have to do is to watch the news.
CBN News met with the ambassador during a visit of a delegation of evangelical Christian leaders to Bahrain and the UAE, led by Joel Rosenberg. During our time in Manama, violence continued to rock Jerusalem's Temple Mount. Ambassador Na'eh explains the rioting is nothing new.
In the 30s, amid a wave of Jewish immigration to then mandatory Palestine, running away from Hitler, just prior to the Second World War, and what the Palestinian leader then, Haj Amin al-Husseini, saw as Arab indifference, he came up with the idea of how to attract attention, and Al-Aqsa was the answer. The Jews are threatening Al-Aqsa. He disseminated this fake news. We didn't call it then fake news, but lie, and it caught fire. And it is still catching fire.
He says the rocks being thrown are not just at Israeli police and Jewish worshippers at the Western Wall.
But they're really thrown at the Abraham Accords. I asked our viewers, your viewers, to really zoom out from just this event and say, look, they're doing it for the second year since the Abraham Accords were signed in order to derail the Abraham Accords.
Ambassador Na'eh points to the media's impact in the region.
The peace process cannot advance without the public opinion. And the public opinion here in the region is being influenced by other media outlets that disseminate lies, fake news, and the role of the media is to really show the truth uncut. To show the truth, to give the full picture, and to explain to people what we're trying to do here. And that is an immensely important.
Na'eh also says they welcome prayers from Christians around the world.
Yes, we need those prayers, we need this help, we need those people who can to come and visit, to see in their own eyes that a new reality is being born. And those among our viewers who have business in the Middle East, come and do business with Israel, with Bahrain, with the UAE, bring people together, and still pray for the peace of Jerusalem and the region.
Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Manama, Bahrain.
That's a story you're likely not going to see anywhere else, but it's a story of encouragement that, yes, indeed, Israel can have peace with her neighbors. You don't have to have peace first with the Palestinians or with Hamas, a terrorist group. You don't have to have peace with them. You don't have to have peace first with Iran. You can structure agreements and come to agreement with people of goodwill, and let's have more of that, and let's have peace spread throughout the region. In that, you're going to isolate the ideologues, the radicals, the ones who want to wipe Israel off the map, and you're going to show the entire world what can happen when a region comes to peace. You can tap into the incredible human capital there, the ingenuity, the inventiveness, and release a great new wave of prosperity, and that would be good for everybody. Let's encourage it. Let's pray for peace in the Middle East, and especially for the peace of Jerusalem.